I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, West Rocks. Today we are live from the Panther Newsroom. My name is Antonio Sforza.
And my name's Lucia Passarelli. Today is Monday, August 21st, and welcome to 6th grade orientation.
Each morning, we begin our day with Panther News.
Our broadcast provides students and staff with important information.
Make sure to listen each morning to all of the announcements.
And now over to Dr. Reynolds.
Good morning. Welcome. Just like you heard our anchors say, welcome to our 6th grade orientation. This is the beginning and the kickoff of your middle school experience. Believe it or not, it goes very, very quickly. I know it's 3 years. Before you know it, we'll be talking about 7th and then 8th, and then you're going to be on to high school. So make sure you take advantage of these 3 years. It does go fast. But to our staff, that was kind of a shift to our morning. We're going to work through it. That was the first time we've gone without the national anthem. So we'll kind of look at what video we're going to use. But each morning, just like you heard our anchor say, you grab your breakfast just like you did, and then you report to homeroom, and we kick off our day with Panther News. Here at West Rocks, we raise our paws. Remember, when I visited your elementary schools, we have P for positive interactions, A for accountability, W for willingness, and S for safety. You'll hear more about that, but that's what we do here at West Rocks. So each morning you come in, and each morning, just like you did today, we're going to practice what each day is going to be, just from the beginning of the day to the end of the day during this. So make sure you take advantage of your teachers, your classmates, and your time. So make sure you're ready and answer any questions that you might have before our school day and our school year kicks off on Monday. I hope everyone got breakfast this morning from the cafeteria. If you take a bus to school, you will be dropped off just like you did out front, and you're going to come in that same entrance that you did today. That door that you came in right by that hallway before you took a right. If you take a bus in the morning, that's the door that you go in. Also, if you have a homeroom on the main level or the lower level, you're going to get dropped off. If you get dropped off by a car, you're going to get dropped off in the front of the school all the way to the left. It's called the science wing door. So if you're in a homeroom in the lower level, if you have a 2-digit homeroom, or you have 100 on the main level on the first floor, you are going to be dropped and you get a ride to school in the morning. You're going to come in the front of the school. So you're going to pull in, you're going to go to the left. Your parent or guardian or family member is going to drop you off right by that far door into the science wing. You're going to enter that and enter the school. If you are in the 200s, if you're on the second floor and you get a ride to school, you're going to get dropped off in the Aiken Street parking lot. So that's the back of the school. That's where you're going to get picked up today. That's where all the dismissals are. So if you have a second floor and you don't take a bus, you walk or get dropped off, you're going to be dropped off on the Aiken Street parking lot in the morning. And that starts on Monday, our first day of school. So anybody who takes a bus lists are posted online. We'll kind of go through that. That's a different bus than you took today. But if you're taking a bus, you make sure you get to your spot on time Monday morning. You come in and you're going to go to that same door as you did today. If you're dropped off, if you're getting a drop off or a ride again, you have, if you're on the main floor, the lower level, you're going to be dropped off in the front of the school to the left on the science wing. The other door, we'll kind of walk through that, and maybe your teachers can point that out as you walk to the auditorium later. And then if you're on the second floor, homeroom, you're 222, Ms. Haggerty, Mr. Richards. If you're in those homerooms, you're going to be dropped off on Aiken Street and come through the back and go right up and go upstairs. Every day when you come in, you have the opportunity to grab breakfast. You come into the school, whether it be bus or dropped off or walking. You come through just like you did today. There will not be carts. We have everything that is going to be set up in the cafeteria. So you come in just like you did today. You walk through the cafeteria. You grab breakfast. Sometimes there's a hot breakfast. Sometimes it's a grab and go like you had today. Either way, you grab that breakfast and we go directly to homeroom. At that point, either you get your stuff, you put your breakfast down, and then you go to your lockers. You're going to get your locker today before you leave, but that's how your morning happens every single day. You got dropped off, or you take a bus, you come in, you grab breakfast, and then you go to homeroom. And that homeroom Monday is the same room that you're starting in today. Okay. The same room that you're in right now is the room that you're going to come in on Monday. So make sure you have that sticky note, and you're going to get a locker combination and pass in a few minutes. Make sure you have that. You're going to bring that home today, and that way you have it. You can check it on PowerSchool as well, but you can bring that in on Monday morning so you know where to go, what your homeroom is, and what your locker is when you get here on Monday morning. Today, just make sure if you're eating breakfast in homeroom today, make sure you clean up after yourself. That's what we do every single day. Just make sure we're using our garbage. And if you have any questions, we ask our teachers. Some of you guys have your actual homeroom teachers. Some of our homeroom teachers are actually at a meeting at central office today. So you have some other teachers who are covering, but you'll meet your teacher, your homeroom teacher, on Monday morning when you get to school for the first day. Today's plan, just to give you an idea, we're going to do a community builder in a few minutes. I'm going to show you a little bit of a short video. You're going to be able to talk a little bit about what your thoughts are. Everybody's going to take a turn, have a little bit of a discussion around what middle school is and what you're thinking, where you can go for help. And then after that, you're going to, as a group, you are going to go out and you're going to practice on a locker. Your teacher is going to assign you a locker. So it's going to take a few minutes. He or she is going to write down, or they are going to write down your name on a locker list. They're going to give you a combination to actually write down the numbers, the 3 numbers of your locker combination. And once everyone has a piece of paper with their locker combination, and the teacher has a list of the students who are in their homerooms with the names next to the corresponding locker, you're going to go outside into the hallway and actually practice on your locker. And we have some National Junior Honor Society students and student ambassadors who are helping, who will help you open lockers. And we're going to do that till we can open up at least a few times, so you're ready to go for Monday. Now, what is it? How do you do a locker? Some of you guys have done it. Some of you guys haven't done it. But the key to a locker combination is you got to go right, left, right. And it's on the actual diagram that you see. So I'm going to show you. I found a website. It's actually a practice website, but you can practice on your own if you'd like to. So you're going to get a piece of paper from your teacher, right? And he or she or they are going to write down 3 numbers. So let's just say your first number that your teacher writes down tells you to write down is 15. That's your first number on your combination. Then the second number on your combination is 10. And maybe the third number on your combination is 25. So we have 15, 10, 25. 50, so you're on that little piece of paper, you're going to write 15, 10, 25. And you're going to see the little arrows that go right, left, right. Now, what does that mean? So I'll show you. You go 2 to the right, you go back through your number to the left, and then you go to your third number. I know it sounds confusing. So 15, 10, 25. So let's pretend I'm out in the hallway. I look up on the top, I see the number of my locker, and I look down and I see my combination. And I say, okay, my combination is 15, 10, 25. I need to go to the right first. So I turn my lock all the way and I go twice. So I go by 0 once. I go by 0 twice. And then I land on 15. Now 15, there it is. And I stop 15. Whew, I got it right. It's green. Yours won't turn green. Then I have to go back the other way. I go left. So I turn, but I have to go by 15 one time. So I go by 15 all the way. So I went by 15 just there. And now I have to stop on my second number, which is 10. So I stop on 10 carefully. 10. All right. So the first time I went to 15 after 2, then I went by 15 once and I landed on 10. And the next one, I go the other direction. I go back right and I go directly to number 25. So I go directly. I turn the other direction and I stop, and I don't go by anything, and I go directly to 25. Oh. Woo! And I open my locker. And congratulations. And so when you're at your locker, when you're in front of your green locker, it opens and you pull it up, or you open it or you push it out. You'll figure that out. And again, the most confusing part, and I think this is where people get a little bit nervous, you have to stay in one direction, and you can't, like, say I missed 10 or 15. I can't just go back the other way and stop on it, because it resets. You can always, and if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's not going anywhere. You just have to keep turning it right, and that resets it. So you can go more than twice to the right, even if you have to just reset it. Keep hitting it, go to the right a few times, and then you stop on your first number before you go left. So if you do that, it's okay. And that's what we're going to practice today in just a little bit after we do our community builder. You're going to go outside. You're going to get your locker. You're going to look up top to make sure the number matches. You're going to practice that combination that you've written down on that little piece of paper, but you're all going to go at once. We're going to have a couple teachers to each homeroom. Everybody has at least a couple people and or another student or two to help. And as we go, and hopefully everyone will be able to at least open it one time successfully. And if you can't, that's okay. We're going to practice it over the first couple of days of school. And I got a little secret. Our 7th graders have never had a locker either. And many of our 8th graders have never had a locker. So it's not just our 6th graders this year. Many of our students are going to practice for the first time opening lockers, because we're having it after COVID. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're all learning together, and it's okay if you don't get it the first time, but it's right twice. Left, you go by your number, and then directly to that last number, that third number to the right. So in a little bit, in a few minutes after we do our community builder, you're going to go outside and do exactly what I just showed you, right, left, right, before we break up. With that said, before we turn it over to you guys and spend a little bit of time together, we are going to talk a little bit about what happens in the beginning of middle school. Give me 1 second. So I need to share just a second. Sorry about that. All right. So Monday will be your first day of middle school. A lot of things probably in your mind. You're a 5th grader at one of our elementary schools. You're coming from a different district. Be that as it may, you were in the 5th grade, and you're probably one of the older kids in your elementary school. Maybe you were there for a number of years. Maybe you were there for a couple of years. Maybe you're just there for a year. Either way, you're one of the older, more mature, and you kind of knew what was happening within the building. It's a smaller school. It's a smaller environment. Well, here at West Rocks, it's a larger school. It's actually the biggest middle school in Norwalk. We're expecting almost 720 students coming on Monday. There are 240 6th graders, believe it or not. That's a lot of kids. It's a big school. We have a 2nd floor, a main floor, and a lower level. So we really have 3 floors with a lot of different rooms. We have a music wing. We have a science wing. We have classrooms. We have an intervention classroom. We have a Verizon lab. We have an art classroom. We have a gymnasium, a learning commons, a library, cafeteria, all very spread out. We have a counseling center that will be a hub and a place that you can go to for support. And your counselor that you'll meet again in a little bit later today is Mr. Amaya. Maybe you checked in with him. He's going to be your go-to person this year. So with all of that said, take a minute, just kind of think quietly. I'm going to give you some quiet think time, just a few seconds. What is one thing that makes you nervous about starting middle school? What's one thing that makes you nervous about starting middle school? Some think time for a second. When I asked that question before, many students say their lockers. That's why we're going to make sure we spend some time on lockers today. But I have a video that we're going to show on, and you're going to see some real kids who share their experience and what they were nervous about in middle school. And you guys can kind of talk about not only if you're nervous about something, because everyone's going to take a turn and with your teacher. How can you get help? And that's really what we're gonna land on today. Yes, we're nervous, but when things come up that we don't know how to do or what we're nervous about, where do we go and ask for help? Because everyone's here to work together as a community. So we're gonna watch a little video today. You're gonna hear it short, just 2 minutes. You're gonna hear from some real students from other schools from different parts of the country, what they're nervous about entering middle school. And then we're gonna come back around when we're in the auditorium. We're gonna see how they resolved it too. So without any further ado, in your mind, you should have what you're nervous about, and you're going to hear some other perspectives as well.
Starting middle school, I was really nervous about changing classes because in elementary school, you don't go from class to class. And so that was something I was definitely worried about, as well as the fact that I have social anxiety. So I'm afraid of large groups, and I know that middle school can be kind of hectic sometimes.
Two things that I was nervous about was meeting new people. I felt kind of nervous about going to a new school with a bunch of new people that I had not met before.
Like being late to class, and like if I was late to class, what would I miss, and like how much homework would there be, and like would I be like stressed out too much or like too little, or would I be like too good in the class, or like would I be not as smart as the other kids?
I felt like I was ready to date people and to like just meet new friends. I was ready for a challenge because I thought elementary was really easy for me.
You know, like you have different teachers, but in elementary, like you only have one teacher and one expectation for that one teacher. But in middle school, you get all of these different teachers that have different expectations.
One thing I was nervous about in middle school was fitting in with others and opening my locker.
Two things I worried about most were probably my grades and how people would like be and like how they would treat me throughout the time I go through middle school.
When I first started school, my biggest issue was like not getting along. Just being that one kid that no one likes.
I was scared I wouldn't know anybody and I wouldn't have any friends.
All right, with that, we all have nerves. We all get nervous. But the most important thing is to face that fear and face those nerves and do the best you can to overcome them. And sometimes we need help. If we get lost, if we have lockers, if we need some assistance making friends, if we're not sure if we're going to be late, how to go, where do we go? And then we're going to see, like I said, we're going to kind of talk through this. I'd like to, for you with your teachers and your classmates to kind of share some of the things that you think. And if people are quiet, that's okay. And if the teacher can kind of go through some of the things that we heard in the video, like if you're not sure where to go, maybe the counseling center is where you go. If you can't go to if you can't open your locker, who can you go to? Who can you help? You have students and other teachers. So if you kind of share out where to get help, and you have that handout as well to kind of guide that discussion just for a few minutes. If we kind of whip around in your classmates in your class and just kind of talk through where can you get help if you need it with things that you're nervous about. You heard some examples too. And then at the end, after we kind of go through some of our day, you take a tour, you're going to try your locker. We're going to come back to homeroom. We'll pass to the auditorium. I'm going to show you those same kids in that same video after a couple months in homeroom. And you're going to hear from them again on how the beginning of middle school went for them too. So if we take just a second, and you'll be able to practice, you'll be able to talk through what maybe you're nervous about. If it's some of the same things in the video, that's okay. And then talk through as a community and with your teacher and your students, how can you get help if you have some of those nerves, and what are some of the things and strategies that you can do in overcoming those fears, those nerves, and how to get help when we start school on Monday. I'm going to be walking around with some of our other teachers and staff as well to help. And in about 5-10 minutes, whenever this conversation wraps up, we can go outside and practice our lockers. And we're anticipating at least till about 9:30, we're going to be doing that. Okay, so it's about 9 o'clock. If you need more time, that's okay. I'll kind of walk around and we'll gauge it. We'll wait for an announcement. Once we're back into homeroom after lockers, before we transition, we'll take that long walk and a little bit of a tour before we get to the auditorium. So with that, if you have any questions, please let me know when I'm walking around. I'll check in on the I'm going to go to the second floor first, then middle floor, and then lower level. And then if you just wait for announcement before we transition, and ask for any support that you need as we're opening our lockers. With that, back to our anchors to wrap us up for our Panther News special edition for our 6th grade orientation.
At Westrox, Panthers always raise their paws. Remember, the PM pause stands for positive interactions. Be kind to your peers and your teachers each and every day.
Have a great orientation today.
We will see everyone on Monday.